So when it comes to marketing, right? Today, marketing, digital marketing, there's
Yeah.
you want outcomes, you want ROI,
Yeah.
right? Every team you talk to, every pitch you make, that's the question you've got to answer. You answer that satisfactorily, you have the
Yeah.
project, right?
Yeah.
What makes podcast a better marketing tool than say all the others out there?
First of all, I would resist from saying better or worse, because as a marketeer, you need to do many different things
Hmm.
to bring value to your company, right? So, doing performance marketing has its own space and a very
Hmm.
important space, depending on the size of the company. Doing TV ads, depending on the business that you're in, that has a space. Doing a Super Bowl ad, that has a space in itself. And
Hmm.
similarly, kind of podcast has its own space, right? So I wouldn't say it's better or worse. I would just say it needs to be a part of your overall marketing mix for sure, right? As
Hmm.
a marketeer. So that's the first thing that I would say. The number two, I think, like I mentioned earlier, podcast does very specific things for you, right? So it's not something which is a question mark, right? Like I said, for a B2B company, access and engagement with the
Yeah.
right stakeholders. That is such an important thing. And then you can go about measuring, right, that in terms of, hey, what is the business that I got from the existing people that I brought on, existing customers that I brought onto the show? Because this deepened relationship, how did that help in me getting more business? How many new customers did I connect with through this particular podcast and start my relationship with it? It's a very specific objective that you're meeting that you can't do through other channels of marketing, right? Thought leadership, right? What are the different ways of building thought leadership, right? So it could be, brands could publish white papers. They should continue doing that. It's a very important part, right? They engage different stakeholders in terms of sponsorship for different events. Do that as well. But today, given the fact that so many people are watching podcasts, if you're not going to build thought leadership to podcasts, you're really missing a trick as a marketeer, right? You're doing that. Then the other aspect that we spoke about, right, which is humanizing the brand, right? I think
Yes.
one of the biggest ways of doing it through this, right? That's why it becomes such an important marketing tool. Then when you talk about your customers becoming your brand evangelist, every brand and company, Rosh, they want that so badly, right? But that doesn't tend to happen. It happens so easily through this particular mechanism that is there. And then the video content that you end up creating, right? There's just, you can use that on each and every one of your social media platforms. Brand managers, marketeers, more often than not, they're in a conundrum in terms of what they should put on their social media channels, right? Because and then they're busy, like, wishing people Merry Christmas and putting some, post of that sort on their social, because they have no clue as to
Yeah.
what they need to do beyond the point on that, right? But now all of a sudden you have so much of interesting video content, right, that can actually engage people. Like I said, I wouldn't say, this tool is better than something. All I would say
Mhm.
that it needs, as a marketeer, this needs to be an integral part of your overall marketing mix. Why? Because it gives you this very specific result that I spoke about, right? Which is, it may not be perfectly measurable, right, from a ROI point of view, right? Because none of the marketing initiatives are perfectly kind of measurable. But yeah, you can see the real business benefit that comes from it.
Yeah. So, Swapnil, with all of the things we've discussed,
Mm,
the fact that today podcasts are accessible,
mm,
they're easy to start off. Anyone and everybody today, you can see podcasts popping up, right? These
yeah,
these are very obvious points, but I think what comes out very, very strongly is the
yeah,
importance of doing it right.
yeah,
Right. And we've truly broken that down
yeah,
today, which
yeah,
is
yeah,
what are we looking to achieve and
yeah,
how is it that podcasts can do that for you? So, the
yeah,
importance of doing it right, because I think the amount of podcasts we see is going to go up even
yeah,
more, and the
yeah,
importance of doing it right and
yeah,
hitting your mark is going to be even more, right?
yeah, yeah,
Because you're going to have a lot more brands doing it, a lot more guests, a lot more
yeah,
evangelists, right?
yeah,
So
yeah,
everybody will, in their self-interest, be promoting the podcast they've
yeah,
been on.
yeah,
But then if you've got the right guests, if
yeah,
you had the right kind of genuine conversation,
yeah,
and they're sharing it in the right circles, then
yeah.
brands are achieving what they want to, right?
Absolutely,
Which is
absolutely.
where I think Ranks can truly bring that value
Correct.
to our clients.
Correct. And just some of the, Rosh, the the forward thinking brands around the world and companies around the world are already doing it, right? So
Yeah.
we're not really talking about something which is new to the world in
Yeah.
any way, right? The benefits of doing a company podcast or a branded podcast, it's already there. You can go to some of the top brands that are doing it well and see it. And as a part of this show and series, we will break down a lot
Yeah.
of these podcasts for you as well, and share some of the best practices from there.